Hi guys, welcome to OG Cars, and in today's video we are doing a fleet update because I can't remember how many cars I have, let alone you guys. So we're going to start with my cars that I'm planning to keep because we've got quite a lot to go through here guys, so prepare yourselves. So we're starting off with Jurassic Panda. I've had that car for a long time and I'm just looking at it out the window there because it does need a little bit of work. It's just had a few little problems towards the end. I had earthing issues with the lights, I had a leak on the diff, and just one or two small little things, and I just want to get around to respraying a few bits on it. So it's going to be staying in the collection obviously, and it's a car that I really love, but one that I need to get around to sort of finishing a few things on and getting it re-MOT'd. Then we have Pandino, my 1993 Fiat Panda Fizz, which features ages ago on this channel. Our first video together, wasn't it? Yeah. And yeah, Pandino's obviously staying, but at the moment is stored, and there will be bigger plans for that in the future once we've finished loads of other stuff in the queue. We've got my Italia 90. Again, it's something I really want to finish and something I would like to keep. I've sort of ummed and ahed on if I was going to keep it after I finished it, but I think I'd have to at least give it a good try out. But that is sitting, waiting for a restoration. And the sills were very hold when I bought it, and I think they're probably more hold now. But there we are, that's another thing for another day. Then we've got my Audi Coupe GT. Now very recently I did bid on an Audi Coupe Quattro and missed out, so the GT is still staying for now. It has actually run out of MOT, but it needs a fan switch or a fan because that is not working at the moment. So I just need to get around to doing that, re-MOTing it and actually using it. Although if I do find an Audi Coupe Quattro in the amazing gold, then I would have that. But with what we have right now, we've got the GT, and then comes my yellow Fiat 126. So I've had this for quite a while now, and again, it's another thing I need to do a little bit of work on. When I say that, I mean I bought it, put it in the garage, and literally haven't touched it, and I started building an engine for it and still haven't finished. So that's another thing for another day. Then we've got my Wartburg. Now, to be fair, of all the cars, I think this is actually the closest to being like a completed thing, but obviously it's sort of like one of them ongoing things because the car was pretty much done and then something broke, and then that's how it works. The Wartburg needs an exhaust and a dynamo, both of which aren't really needed, I've decided, because I can drive around without them. But yeah, Wartburg's obviously staying. And then we've got the Fiat Panda 4x4 Sisley Edna, which is being stored at the moment and just needs a clutch cable and probably a good going over, just sort of servicing, just to get back on the road. But something we're trying to keep safe now because we used it on used it on a Panda 4x4 trip once and basically drowned it. So we're trying not to do something like that again.
So, on to my cars, and I'm about to give you a list of cars that don't work because that's just my luck with how cars are at the moment.
I basically did that as well, didn't I?
You did, yeah. So it does make me feel a bit better about myself now, in fairness. So I'll start with the first two who are also sat just outside the window. So Charmander, my Fiat Panda that I did for prostate cancer and then never got to go because of COVID. The head gasket went just before the MOT last year, and in honesty, I've not touched it since. I've started it periodically, it still starts, just doesn't sound great because of what's happened. So I will fix that, I've just not got around to it with everything going on at the moment. And then next to that is Kelly. If I go and start Kelly now, no one will back me up, first start of the queue, that car will start. Yeah. The only reason I took that car off the road was that it needed some body work, and the brake lines and the fuel lines weren't looking great. So we thought we'd do it and just never did it. So we will do that. The next car, you'll probably know more as Owen's car, but it's now my car, is the Renault Twingo. I put that in for a restoration at the beginning of the year and it needed a lot more than I thought it would. So that car is still away. For me, it's no rush when it comes back, but I would really like it back for the end of summer. So that will come back eventually. The next car then would be my Nissan 300ZX, which is upstairs in the garage. Right now, I have no intentions of selling that car. Whether that changes in the future, I don't know. But it has everything done now to go for an MOT. I just need to get my ass into gear and actually go and take it for an MOT. So that car's nearly done. And then the last one, which I haven't told you guys back on the channel yet, is Betty, my Fiat Panda. So I had this car when I first met Owen, when he had Pandino, and I had the opportunity to buy it back. It's in really bad shape. But I bought it back, and obviously there's a bit of a queue before it, but that will be making a return. And I know I just said it's the last one, but there is one more car, and that is a Mini Cooper S R53, which I literally bought a few days ago as I'm filming this video as my daily, but I'll do more on that in the future.
So now we're moving on to cars that we're basically almost certainly selling. So first up on my list is the 1275 GT, and I say almost certainly selling because it should be sold. It went to auction, it hit reserve at £7,000, and that's what it owes me after car and classic fees. So I'm getting my money back out of it, hopefully, but the person hasn't paid for it just yet, but he has until the end of tomorrow to pay, so we'll find out. Read that one, and it'll become a whole new video if he doesn't pay for it. But yeah, basically that one should be going. Next up is something that may surprise some of you because the car's only recently come onto the scene, which is my Mini Sprite. But basically I got it in a trade deal, and it's a really nice car, and it's actually really usable. I've been using it daily. But there's other cars on our lists that basically we want to keep, and I want to maybe bring back as a daily, and therefore the Sprite, I feel like I've had my fun with it, and it's probably time to move it on so that I can actually focus on things like the 126 and all my other projects. And then we've got my ULEZ Panda 4x4, which you guys may remember, the white one from the eccentric couple in London, lovely people. And I really need to get my ass in gear and get that finished as well, because the MOT's lapsed on it now. But I wanted to go right through it anyway and do it properly because, you know, it's had repairs over the years, but I want to just really sort of strip it down and just get it done right first time. But ultimately, we've got enough Panda 4x4s, so that one is probably going to have to fly the nest as well. Speaking of 4x4s, there's two more on this list, which you guys don't even know about. I've been just collecting them and being like, I will do these and then I will use them. But guess what? I don't have the time to do literally all the things that we're talking about right now. But I do want to finish the project, so I'm kind of committed, apart from one of them. And that's the one I mentioned now, a very rusty white right-hand drive Panda 4x4, which a friend offered to me like 2 or 3 years ago and I agreed to buy. And they sort of disappeared off the face of the earth and then just delivered it to me like a month or 2 ago, and I was like, oh my days, this is bad. So yeah, I will make a dedicated video to this car, but basically it's a dedicated video saying, wow, look what I bought, this is terrible, and now it's going because I don't have time to do literally like a full restoration. That's not just like strip down and rebuild, that's strip down and weld a whole new car onto it and then rebuild it. So yeah, I'm not a Fiat Panda factory line. I'm not prepared for that one yet. And the last one on my list is a left-hand drive Panda 4x4, which people in the Panda Classic group will know that I have, but I haven't actually announced here yet because it's gone off for welding and it's been there for 4 months and still hasn't been touched. So yeah.
So on my list of cars that are definitely going, I have 3 cars, all of which I think will surprise people. So the first one, it's not really a surprise to me, is my Skoda Felicia. Now, I bought the Skoda Felicia because I needed a car, and the idea was it would always be a stopgap car until something else came back on the road or something came up that I really wanted. And obviously I now have the R53, which I am in love with. So ultimately the Skoda Felicia has gone into storage and it's just sitting there. So I've put the Skoda Felicia back up for sale. It did its job, but in comparison, I've always been a hot hatch person and the Mini ticks so many boxes. And if it's anything to go by with this Mini, once we show it to you on the channel, even Owen is in love with it. We think it's a great little car.
It's a good car. It's a good car.
And then the next two is a project which is nearly finished, is the Skoda Favourite Forum Estate. Now, I never had any intention of selling the car. I have offered it to Owen, but as of this video being filmed, he doesn't know.
We'll see.
I just don't see myself using it enough. And with the space we have here, we want to try and thin the cars down. And I just think it's going to sit in the way and it's not going to get used. It's in great condition. The only thing it's got is those few blemishes to the exterior, but I think if it goes to a loving home, I am quite happy to see that car go now. Even though I've never used it, we think we'll probably tax and insure it for a month, even if Owen doesn't buy it, just so we can use it and experience it a bit. But that would then be it and that car will go for sale. And the last one, which hurts my heart a little bit because I do love it, is my Volvo 480 Turbo. Now, I've done a lot to that car, Owen did a lot to that car.
Yes.
We took that car from a car which was going to be scrapped to a very good example of a Volvo 480 Turbo manual. You know, respray, we did welding, we did engine work, suspension. That car has had the lot. But it just keeps having these little niggles, which mean that every time I put it on the road, something comes up which means I have to take it off of the road. Like, for example, that car is the reason I didn't have a car for nearly 2 months, because when the Twingo went off for respray, I thought, great, I'll use the Volvo. And within a week, the water pump went and possibly took the head gasket out with it. And I say possibly because I've not had the time to investigate it around work. So we're going to look at fixing it, getting it back on the road for an MOT, which should be quite easy because, as I say, we've done so much. But we've not done it yet. And I think once I have done it, I've had my time with that car, and that car is sadly also going to fly the nest, which, to say, upsets me. It's one of my favourite cars, but I think I've had my time with it. So I think it's the right time for it to go. So
that leaves us at a grand total currently of 21 in-house, which is absolutely crazy. Obviously, when we tell people this, they are amazed. And so am I, to be fair, because I think, where on earth are all those cars? And that's what people ask me as well. They say, where are these cars? And I'm like, in a few places. I think that's part of the problem. I think before we had a house, me and Owen had absolutely nothing to do. And we would always be doing stuff. But now you have your weekends, we've got a house, we like to do stuff on the house, or we like to go and do stuff. And 21 cars is too much. Because cars are sitting there not getting used. Cars that we love and care about and not being used. So we want to cut it down to 13 is our total after those selling cars are sold. Which, who knows how long that's going to take us to do, but hopefully we can do it this year. You never know. I think we can fit a few down by the end of this year, but I think if we give ourselves like a target of 12 months, I think that's not too bad. Yeah, and let's be honest, there probably will be one or two that join afterwards. We do still like to obviously delve into more things, but at least if the number was down towards 13, if one or two sort of came and went every now and then, you know, like the minis have come and gone, I've experienced things like that. If things come and go as I experience them and you experience them, then I don't feel so bad because we don't have like so many cars just sitting around doing literally nothing. So while it's sad we're having to like make some harsh decisions, like such as the Volvo, I think that's probably going to surprise people the most out of all of them, because it's a car that's probably been with us the longest out of all of those as well. That car's, we've had that car for 4 years now, I think. Yeah, and obviously I basically built it from almost the ground up. And when we finished it, we took it to Volvo 600, and we've done thousands of miles in that car off video. A lot of the stuff with the Volvo have just been stuff that me and Owen have enjoyed. And yeah, as I say, we'll both be gutted to see that car go because we put so much effort into it. But when we sat there and thinned it down, I said, I barely used that car last year. And every time I use it, it likes to break. So we're going to fix everything on it, get it through an MOT, and give it to someone who's going to love it. Yeah, it's basically harsh realities, but you can't keep them all. I think that about wraps up everything for now. Obviously, the fleet's going to come down, maybe up and down, hopefully not up and down, mostly down, hopefully. Just down. But yeah, we hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you've got any questions on any of your cars, just leave them in the comments below. Like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next one.